Apple has released Final Cut Pro for the iPad 2, and one of its standout features is the live multicam. This feature allows you to connect up to 4 iPhones simultaneously with the free Final Cut camera app. In this video, I will guide you through using Final Cut Pro for iPad's live multicam feature, helping you take your mobile videos to the next level. So let's look at this setup I have going on here. So first of all, you need to download the free Final Cut camera app on your iPhone to use the live multicam feature, which is, by the way, only available on the iPad. Now I'm using a 12.9-inch M2 iPad Pro with my iPhone 15 Pro Max connected. Now, like I mentioned, you can connect up to 4 iPhones, but who has 4 iPhones laying around, right? So realistically, you can use your iPad as your primary device and your iPhone as a secondary angle like I have right now. And this gives you effectively 2 viewpoints that already greatly enhance the production value. Plus, with the free Final Cut camera app, you have full control over your camera and can dial in the look you want. Now over here, I'm using 2 monopods from iFootage, which makes it really easy to quickly set up your camera. And by the way, I will leave links to all products mentioned in the video description below. Now for the iPad, I'm using the Padcaster case, which was actually sent to me to test out. And it's actually really nice. It's compatible with any iPad and works great as a director's monitor setup. It's also great for filming as it's easy to set up and has multiple 1/4 thread holes for mounting accessories. They even include a 37mm lens mount for attaching lenses or filters. So if you're looking for a hassle-free way to turn your iPad into a portable filming studio, the Padcaster case is definitely worth checking out. So let's now look at how to set up the live multicam. So open up Final Cut Pro on the iPad and let's create a new project. I'm going to name the project Live Multicam Tutorial. Then I'm going to select Done. Then we have Format, which I'm going to leave in Auto. This sets the orientation, resolution, and frame rate to match the first clip added to the project timeline. But if I want, I can also dial in those settings manually by choosing Custom. Then we have the location to where we want to store the project, so we can either save it internally on the iPad or externally on an SSD. But for now, I'm going to keep it simple and save it onto my iPad. Select Continue, and now we have the new Live Multicam option. So I'm going to select that. So in here, we can add our angles, and it already shows me the devices available. So the iPad Pro and the 15 Pro Max. So I'm simply going to select both angles. Hit Next. In here, we can select our base settings that will be applied to all the connected devices. So I will set the resolution to 4K. The orientation will be in landscape, but we can also choose portrait if we're filming for Instagram. Then we can also choose the frame rate, which I will leave at 25 frames per second. The highest frame rate you can shoot in is 4K 30 frames per second. Unfortunately, there's no 4K 60 frames per second available. Now keep in mind, even though I've selected 4K, the front-facing camera on the iPad only supports 1080p, so it will choose that setting, but on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it will choose 4K. And there's also a note saying devices that support your selected format will use these settings. Devices that don't support your format will use the closest setting available. Then if you want to record in the highest quality possible, then enable Apple ProRes. Keep in mind, Apple ProRes is only supported on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max model. And also the file size are huge, so I would recommend storing those files externally. Then we have color and dynamic range. We can choose between HDR and SDR. For now, I'm going to keep it simple and select SDR. Then we have the record control. So by having that enabled, anyone can start recording on either devices. But if I disable it, I'm only able to start and stop recording through the iPad. Then to the very bottom, we have camera indicators, which I recommend you leave enabled. This will show you the recording time left, as well as the battery level of each device. Then at the top right, select Done. And we're now inside the live multicam interface. So you can see up here, we have the live indicators shown. So let's now adjust the camera settings on each angle. And I'm going to start with the iPad first. So I'm going to select the full screen mode. And I'm going to switch to the front facing camera. So in here, you get the same controls as in the Final Cut camera app. So over here, we have the zoom. Selecting that allows me to zoom in or out. I rarely use this feature as it degrades the quality the further I zoom in. Then below we have our audio meter. Currently I have the internal mic enabled. Then over here we can switch between different focal lengths, so I can choose the ultra wide angle lens if I wanted to. Then over here we have our exposure controls. So let's select that, and then I can slide up or down to increase or decrease the exposure. Now, if I want more control over my exposure, I can select this button right here, and then we get the option to dial in our shutter speed and ISO. So because I'm recording in 4K 25 frames per second, I'm going to set it double the frame rate, which is 1/50. And the ISO I will set as low as possible. This way I can avoid not having too much noise in my image. To head back, I'm going to select this icon. Let's now move on to the white balance. I can simply slide up or down to make the shot cooler or warmer. And what I like to do is dial it in manually. So this looks about right at 5000 Kelvin. And once it turns yellow, this means your white balance is locked. And I can also choose custom presets by selecting this icon, and I can choose between daylight, shadow, cloudy, tungsten, fluorescent, flash. What you could also do is set it to auto first, and it will dial in the white balance for you. And then you can go back and then select fixed to lock it at that value. And I find that the iPad or iPhone does a good job at detecting the white balance for you. But I do want this shot to be a bit warmer, so I'm gonna set it to 5000 Kelvin. To head back, I'm gonna select the icon again. Then up here, you can see the remaining record time, which is 62 hours. Up here, we find again our codec, dynamic range, resolution, and frame rate. So selecting that will expand it. And on the selfie camera, as you can see, I can only select up to 1080p. I'm gonna select the X icon to get back. Then up here, we have the gear icon for additional settings. Let's select that. Again, we have codec, format, dynamic range. Then we have stabilization, which I leave off since I have my iPad on a monopod, because enabling it will crop in a bit and I want to make use of the full sensor, so I will disable it. Then we have mirror front camera. So if I leave that enabled and record with the front facing camera, once I stop recording, it will flip the video. So I'll leave that disabled. Let's now head over to tools. Then we have our composition settings. I definitely leave grid overlay enabled. This allows me to set my composition properly. Then we also have different aspect ratio. So we have the square and 4:3 if you're planning to film for social media like Instagram, but I leave that off to get that 16:9 grid. Then we have overexposure indicator. When I enable it, you can see there are no red areas because the image is well exposed. If you have an overexposed shot, red areas will appear in your image. Now, I usually turn this on real quickly just to check and then disable it afterwards. Then we have focus peaking. The green area shows what's in focus. It isn't so clear, so I don't use it that much. And since I have a large screen, I can clearly see what's in focus. Then we have audio, so you can choose between the internal mic or an external mic. Now, I tried connecting the DJI Mic 2 via Bluetooth and it did work. However, you will need the Road Reporter app. So once I turn it on, test. And if you haven't connected it to your iPad before, then you'll have to select the DJI mic in the Bluetooth settings. But because I've done that, it will automatically detect it inside the Road Reporter app. So then I can head back and then open up Final Cut Pro. And then in the source, you can see that it will automatically select it. And below I have the audio meters, so you can see it works. But for now, I'm gonna disable it and use the internal mic on my iPad. So let's head back. I'm gonna select the X icon. Now, if I want to switch angle in the full screen mode, I can head down here to the 3 dots, select that, and then select angle 2, then it's iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I can switch over that way, which is really nice. Now, I actually can enable autofocus as well, and I can control the iPhone 15 Pro Max from my iPad. So I can select the autofocus, and if I want to, I can also manually adjust the focus, but I'm going to keep it in auto. Then over here, I can check the exposure settings, which is correct, and the white balance setting, 5100. That looks about right. And if I want, I can also select the audio source on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So right now I have the Rode Video Mic Me C connected. Now for this, I'm also going to enable the grid overlay. This looks good. And up here, I can also select the camera settings again, looks good. Now, because I have the exposure locked and the focus set to auto, I can just tap on the screen to select where I want the focus to be. So right now the plant in the background is in focus. And if I tap on my face, it will focus back on me again. So to head back to the live multicam interface, just select this icon down here. And we're back. Now I can also connect a headset to monitor each device's audio. So if I select the speaker icon down here, you'll see I can connect headphones to this iPad and listen to audio from this angle, or I can choose to listen the audio from the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Then you also see this information icon. And when I select it, it will just tell you that the iPad Pro has a different recording setting from the live multicam and will record in 1080p SDR 25 frames per second. So that's also nice that this information is shown. Then to the very top, we have the gear icon, which shows the base setting again. And then right beside it, we can add another angle if we wanted to. Then we have the record button, which can be dragged around the screen. So I'm going to keep it right here. So once I select this button, the recording will start on all devices, and the iPad and the iPhone will each capture their own copy of the footage. And the iPhone will also stream a lower resolution preview to the iPad, allowing me to preview everything in real time. I'm actually really surprised with the latency, as it's very low even after I start recording. And right now both devices are connected to my local internet. Also, after I start recording, certain settings like lens changes are restricted. So I now can start the recording. And the latency is very low right now. And at the same time, I'm actually doing a screen recording on my iPad as well as on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. So this is amazing. So right now I'm recording from two angles. This is my iPad. This is my iPhone. Now the latency is very low since I only have one iPhone connected. If you have up to 4 iPhones connected, there is a little delay, but it's still very impressive. Now, once I stop recording, a low resolution file is ready to use on the iPad on my Final Cut Pro timeline. So I'm going to select Done. And what's really cool is that I can edit these proxy clips immediately while the iPhone transfers the full resolution 4K footage to my iPad's Final Cut Pro project. So I can now drag the footage onto my timeline, and then below I can select Multicam. And the first thing I'm going to do is select the audio for the camera angle. So as for the main audio, I want to choose my iPhone 15 Pro Max since I have the Rode Video Mic Me C connected. So I can select the speaker. And in here, you'll find different options. I will select solo, which will play this angle's audio and mute the audio of all other angles. Now you also have different options such as on, which plays this angle's audio even when its video is not active, or you have auto switch, which plays the angle's audio only when its video is active, or you can mute it entirely. And then from here, I can scroll through the clip and choose my desired angle. And I can use my fingers for that, or I can also use the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 on the keyboard. Then you also have the edit angle option, which lets you apply adjustments or effects to each camera angle individually. So as an example, I can select this, head over to the effects tab, choose maybe, let's go for black and white, and it will show me a preview. If I like it, I can drag that effect onto the clip. So there you have it. That is the iPad's live multicam feature, and it is undoubtedly a powerful tool. But who is it for? Firstly, it acts as an all-in-one portable mobile video production tool, allowing you to set up and finalize your projects anywhere. Another advantage is that if you plan to do a podcast with someone who happens to have an iPhone, you can use that iPhone as an additional camera angle. Now, if you're a Final Cut Pro user, you can easily perform a rough edit within FCP on the iPad and then export the entire project to Final Cut Pro on a Mac to refine your edit. Now, what are some additional features that I would like to see? Well, I would love to see how the live multicam feature integrates with Final Cut Pro on a Mac. That would be a game changer. I can definitely see that feature being implemented. Next would be the live switching, allowing for real-time cuts during live recording that are automatically saved to the project timeline. And this can save a lot of time during the editing process. And finally, there would be the camera to cloud feature. For example, Filmic Pro, which has Frame.io integrated, enables a cloud-based workflow. And it would be great if Frame.io would be integrated into the Final Cut camera. So this means while you're recording in the Final Cut camera app, those clips will then be directly uploaded to the cloud, which you can share with your team, making the collaboration much easier. Overall, I'm excited about the potential of this new feature as it makes the iPhone more versatile. The possibilities are almost endless with mobile video production, and I believe this is only getting better and easier, especially for solo creators. Now, will I use this live multicam feature? I think so. I can definitely picture myself doing the rough cut on my iPad when I'm on the go, and then finishing it up in Final Cut Pro on my Mac once I'm back home. So what do you guys think? Is it something that you would use in your content creation process? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't seen my beginner's guide on the Final Cut camera app, be sure to check it out right here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.